I look like an engineer? What part of me looks like an engineer?
Just studying.
I think you've had bad experiences with engineers.
Okay, then what do you do then, dude?
I don't like to talk about my work.
You're bullshitting me.
Why would I? Oh my god, what do you think of yourself? Tell me, I want to know. I want to know.
I think I'm great.
You're a Martian, you're great. Did you see what happened over here? 99% of the men don't even realize when a woman is testing them. They think that the woman is being rude or she's being mean, but the reality is completely different. Some people call it interest test, some people call it shit test. But I like to call it congruence test because the woman is actually seeing whether you're that confident guy you're projecting to be. Now, it doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't matter what kind of social status you have. If you fail these tests, you will never be able to attract a woman in your life. So if you want to attract women with your apex essence, this is the most important video that you'll watch because this information is not available anywhere on the internet. So today we are going to talk about how to pass her shit test. Now, after you watch this video, you're going to have an in-depth insight on why do women test you, how you can identify those tests, and how to pass those tests effortlessly. Now, most men fail at identifying those tests. So if you've been in a position where you're talking to a girl, everything seems amazing, everything seems good, but you have no idea why she's losing interest, it's probably because you have failed to identify her tests. So first, let's talk about why would a woman test you and not a homeless man on the street. Now, you need to understand, a woman is not going to go to a homeless man on the street and she's not going to test her because she's not attracted. She's only going to test you if she thinks that she's going to be your potential partner, even short-term or long-term. But she wants to test you if you're that confident that you're projecting to be, if you're a congruent guy, if you're authentic to who you're saying you are. A woman is not going to test a homeless man because she's not attracted to him, she has nothing to do with him, and she doesn't care. She's not going to go to the homeless man and say, "Hey, why are you talking to me?" But if you're talking to her, she might just say that. Now that shows that she's probably thinking about you as a potential partner, and that's why she's testing you. In the sexual marketplace, women have more power and are the choosers. Now how the world has evolved, especially modern dating, women are the choosers and men are the chasers. Now I want to explain this by the buyer-seller dynamic. Now, once you go to buy the car, you're not going to the salesman and you're not telling him, "Hey, I really love this car, I really want this car," because then you're going to miss out on the discounts, then you're going to miss out on special deals, special offers that he might give you. So when you go to buy a car, you're probably checking the negatives of the car, you're probably checking the positives of the car, and then you take an informed decision. Similarly, women take an informed decision by testing you because they're testing you whether you're that attractive man, you're that confident guy that you're projecting to be or not. Because at the end of the day, when they're hooking up with you, they're risking pregnancy. So they're risking an offspring, and because of that, it's very important for them to take an informed decision because they need confidence, alpha resonance, authenticity, and want to avoid low quality men. So the shit test is basically their screening system to avoid those low quality men and to hook up with those high quality men, either for short term or long term. Now with those tests, what she wants to do is she wants to see if you will fold under her pressure or you will stand your ground. Because if you fold under her pressure, you bend, you lose. So understand this, you cannot fail her test because once you fail her test, she's going to lose interest drastically. So if you've been talking to a girl and everything seems to be going good, she's invested, she's talking to you, she's texting you back, you meet her a couple of times, but then slowly her interest is dying and suddenly you say something and she disappears and you're like, "Where did I mess up? I have no idea. I have literally no idea what did I do wrong." And then you start chasing her. What happens is you fail to identify her tests. Now 99% of the men actually fail to identify her tests. So her test can be verbal and her test can be non-verbal. Now a girl can test you verbally by saying something which can put you off balance, or a girl can test you non-verbally by just giving you a weird look which might put you off balance. Now what I've seen with my experience, a non-verbal test is generally something that you're going to receive in the initial bit of the interaction. She's going to put a weird face, she's probably going to test you with a body language, she's going to see if it puts you off balance, and if it does, you're going to fail the shit test. Now women do this consciously and unconsciously. Now what I mean is sometimes a woman is going to consciously do this because she wants to see if you're that guy that you're projecting to be. She's going to see if you're that confident guy, if you're that secure guy, or are you an insecure guy who's going to have an emotional disbalance when she says something. Then women also do this unconsciously. Now most of the shit tests are actually subconscious. That's why my advice to you is whenever a woman gives you shit tests, don't take it personally. Understand that it's female nature and try to play with it. Now there are just 8 kind of tests that you're going to receive. And this covers it all. All these 8 tests are the only tests that you need to worry about. Apart from these 8 tests, there are no more shit tests. Now the first one, she's going to test your confidence, and this generally happens in the initial bit of the approach. When you're approaching a girl, when you're texting a girl in online dating, when you're meeting her for the first few times, she's going to see, are you that guy that you're projecting to be? But the second way that she's going to test you is she's going to test your boundaries. And this generally happens when a girl is probably meeting you for the second or the third or the fourth time. You need to set healthy boundaries. She's going to test your boundaries to see whether you're a guy who's going to bend over, who's going to fall into her frame, or are you a guy who's going to set a strong boundary and who's going to act on it. Now, once you let her step over your boundaries, she's going to step over your boundaries over and over again to see how you react to it. Now, I want to share a little story. So I was texting this girl, and this girl, I was trying to set a date with her, and she flakes on me for the first time. And a flake means whenever she cancels a date at the end moment, that means that she's testing your boundary. At that point, if you don't set a healthy boundary, the next time that can happen again, and the next time that can happen again. Now, how do you set a healthy boundary? It's not by being aggressive on her, but just by telling her, hey, your lack of respect for my time is a big turn-off. I hope this doesn't happen again. Now, once you say that, a woman will know that you're not going to take any shit. She's going to know that you're a high-value man who respects his time, and you're okay letting her go because your time is more precious. Now, the third way they're going to test you is testing emotional stability. Now, a woman is going to test emotional stability by creating a small drama to see how you react to that drama, how you react to that stress. She's going to complain about a trivial thing which really doesn't matter. And why she's doing that is because she wants to see, are you an emotional rock? Are you a guy who's centered? Or are you a guy who's going to have emotional disbalance? Because if you have emotional disbalance, definitely you're not suitable for a long-term relationship. So make sure when a woman is testing you emotionally, just shrug it off, and I'll tell you exactly how to pass them. So watch the video till the very end. Now, the fourth way is testing independence. Now, what she does over here is she's going to do something which is not okay with you, and she's going to see whether you have an independent mindset or are you dependent on her for your positive emotions. Now, generally a woman is going to do that by cancelling at the last moment, by telling you that she has made other plans, by telling you that there's something up, and she's going to see how you respond to that. Are you a dependent person, dependent on her for your emotions? Or are you an independent person who's drawing state from within, who's drawing positive emotions from within? Now, the fifth way is testing social proof. And this generally happens on the second or the third date, or maybe even going forward, because she's going to test how you are socially. Now, how women do that is by increasing competition anxiety in men. Now, what is competition anxiety? For example, you go out on a date with a girl and she starts talking to some other guy. She's going to see how you're responding to that. Are you a guy who's taking out his phone and just checking his phone? Are you a guy who's getting angry at her? Or are you a guy who's just very cool and you were talking to the guy as well, completely nonchalant and just saying, hey, what do you do, man? Nice to meet you. And talking to the girl and being a social guy. That's how you pass that shit test. So she's going to test you if she wants a long-term relationship, or she's going to test you if she thinks that you're not serious about her, because what she's going to do is she's going to put you into an insecurity. So if you're an insecure guy, she's going to catch it then and there. Now, the sixth way is testing leadership. This is something that happens when you guys get into a similar social group or you have a social group with her. She's going to put the decisions of the group on you. And why is she doing that? She wants to see whether you're a leader or whether you're a follower. And obviously, women are attracted to leaders. She's going to put you in a position where you have to decide for the whole group, or you have to decide for her as well. If I have to give you an example, women love a man who takes the lead. So if you're setting a first date with a woman, never. Never let her lead. Never let her decide the place. Always the man should do it. Now, she's also going to test your value, and how women do that is by showing disinterest. Even if you're talking to a girl, maybe you went out on 2 to 3 dates, then she suddenly stops showing that interest. Now, what she's testing is, are you a guy who knows his true value, who knows what you bring on the table, or are you a guy who thinks you have no value and you're just gonna chase her? Now, the moment you start chasing her is the moment she's gonna lose all attraction and you're gonna lose the girl. So if a woman is playing hard to get, you need to cut her out. You need to stop talking to her for a little bit. You need to focus on other girls, and then she's going to come back in the loop. But the moment you start chasing her is the moment you lose your value in that relationship and the moment you fail that shit test. And the last way she's going to test you is she's going to test authenticity. Now, a woman is going to test how authentic you are to whatever you're saying. She's going to hold you accountable to that. She's going to call you out on your BS, which basically means if you say something and you do something else, you're going to fail those tests as well. So understand, these tests give her a sense of man's level of confidence. So do not take it personally. If a girl is testing you, if a girl is testing me at least, I am happy about it. I'm happy that she's attracted to me and she's looking at me as a short-term or even a long-term partner. But these tests are going to differ on what kind of a relationship she's looking for you. And these tests are also going to differ on the amount of time you spent with her. Now let's talk about how you can pass those tests effortlessly. Now the first rule is you ignore and you conquer. For example, if a girl says like, Are you really cracking that joke? Are you really saying all of that? Are you really that guy? Now what you need to do at that point in time is you just look at her and you're like, definitely. And you just ignore the shit test completely. At that time, what you're doing is you're not giving her enough power. Now once you've not given enough power, she's gonna fight for that power, and definitely she's gonna be the one who's chasing you. So always ignore and conquer if it's like a small shit test. Embracing your masculinity. Now most men, when it comes to owning up to themselves, they're not owning up to themselves. So what you need to do is when a girl is testing you, you need to own up and embrace your masculinity. Now I want you to watch this clip so you understand more about it.
I will leave you to your dance, but I will just know you more. I'm the judge. No, I'm a public speaker.
If you want to watch the whole infield footage, I'm breaking it down in the masterclass I'm doing in the coming week. All you need to do is click the pinned comment below and sign up for the free masterclass. Now that being said, amplify what she said. Now this is another good way of passing her test. So I was dating this girl and she said, hey listen, I'm too old for you. You know, this relationship will not work and I'm too old. And I'm like, yeah, you're definitely too old for me and you can adopt me. Maybe we can have a different relationship where you can be my mother. And that's how I passed that shit test. So you need to understand, amplify what she said. Now, there's another way to do it, which is undermining the noise. So either you amplify it or either you undermine it completely. Now, how would I undermine that kind of a situation is, yes, you're right. I was born yesterday. I'm actually an infant. You can adopt me. Now, the same way, what you're showing over here is you're not emotionally affected by what she's saying, and that's how you pass the shit test. Now the next thing is misunderstanding and misdirecting. Now this is another way of passing a shit test where you misunderstand what she's saying on purpose and you misdirect her. Now I want to show you a video because this is a little bit advanced concept, so check this out.
I had my time when I was growing up, getting out of the teenage.
How old are you?
Make a guess. Don't look at my crush. I'm like feeling so shy.
How am I going growing up? So why don't you?
You want to know if I'm grown up enough?
Yeah.
That's pretty forward. I love that.
And the final way is you turn it back on her. You turn the shit test back on her. Now the way you do it, if the girl is saying something mean, for example, hey, there's a pimple on your face. That makes me more attainable. You don't show her emotional deviation. You don't show her that you're emotionally affected. That's the whole logic behind all of these things. Now you need to understand that as a man, you should never play the game by her rules. The moment you play the game by her rules, you're playing a losing game. And apart from that, you need to take control of the frame and you need to become a tester yourself, because once you become a tester yourself, it's like you are the buyer and she's the seller. And once you become the buyer, you hold most of the value and she's gonna chase you for validation. Now, if you think passing a shit test is a lot of work, if you think that you're a nice guy and this demands you to be extremely disagreeable, I have created a video where I talk about how nice guys finish last and what you need to do to be real rather than being nice. All you need to do is click the video over here and check it out. Hey, what's up? This is Aruna from TheBroThing, and we help men like yourself to get the relationship that you deserve. So if you're single, consider subscribing.